So before you guys start this journey of a video, all I have to say, if you guys didn't see it in the last video, is we have a really awesome drop happening literally right now as you watch the video. Me and Chris, Mr. Rudnik himself, are doing a collab drop. Something we've been really hyped on and we've been working on, and we are so excited to be able to do this together. So we have posters, we signed all of them. It was a really long night, but super happy on how these came out. We got slap stickers, t-shirts, a bunch of goodies. I'll have him put it right here. Hot below, shop Jimmy-O. Me and Rudnik are doing this together. We're splitting everything. It's really cool to be able to do something with a local homie. It's live! Bah, 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 bah. Air horn. Gah, 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 gah. Enjoy the video. Good morning, everybody. Today is either going to be a really great day or a really bad day. There's no in between.
Stop, what? No, I said this like 4 times yesterday to everyone at work. They're like, really, you're gonna do it? I was like, yeah, tomorrow I'm either gonna lose like a lot of money or I'm gonna be really happy.
There's no in between for today.
No, there's no in between.
I've been mentally preparing for this for quite a long time, so I know you have. So as you guys know, Brian's LS right here, LS E46. The story of this thing, if you guys haven't been around, it's been a hardship. Thanks to you guys and a lot of hard work from Brian, he was able to get himself one gangster ass engine for his E46.
Yeah, I think this is the 4th engine in my car, and the last 2 engines collectively went like maybe 120 miles.
So Brian went OD with this thing. JP built an absolute beautiful engine for him. We'll go through the parts list, I think, a little bit later. Most gangster LS2 I think you can ever put together.
Naturally aspirated.
Naturally aspirated, okay. And today we are hopefully dyno tuning it. We have D. Burton himself, bootleg tuner.
LS Extraordinary.
LX Extraordinary. I'm making you tune it for liability issues.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. I have watched Brian almost puke from this car over and over again. We've had some complications the last couple of weeks, just small things that have just been fighting us for no reason. And I've seen a ghost in this kid's eyes way too many times. And so Derek's got a good rap sheet, so it's going to be on you, buddy.
Yeah, I'll blow it up and still smile.
See, I picked the right guy. We have Derek here in the morning just to go over and make sure everything's good enough up to his par before we even bring it over to his dyno. Cut out the middleman here.
Why?
Just because I know Derek's a little picky one.
Euro Japanese kids love short USB cords. What is this?
He's using the damn engine bay.
Get me an extension.
Derek, it's nice to have you back here.
You know what I mean? Jeez.
We've missed you. You sassy little fuck.
That ain't right.
Which part?
The whole thing. I'm telling you right now.
Just remember, it has unequal length headers. It kind of always sounds
listen to
wrong.
me right now. That's not okay. Put the time light on.
All right. Spoon. Good day.
Great day.
This thing gets to leave.
Gets tuned.
Give it a second.
That's a PC answer.
Kind of just sounds like a juicy cam to me. Had some complications last night. We were here late. I thought we got it, but
I thought y'all was doing it this morning.
we're trying to. Derek says it sounds weird. It's so hard with the big ass cam V8s because it always sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I can pull a coil right now and it really won't sound much different. It's nuts. Even now, you hear it. It's gonna be that like nutty.
Yeah.
Watch this. It's hard to tell sometimes with these big cams, so we're gonna hold it up at a higher RPM, like 3,000. We're gonna do the coil test again to see if we could hear a difference when we unplug a cylinder. If we hear a difference, that means that cylinder's probably working. If we don't hear a difference, that means the cylinder's probably not working. Hear it, right? Yeah, it's only misfiring at low RPM. You can hear it at the higher RPM when you unplug it, it dims a little bit.
It's something like when you get on the super low efficiency side of the motor, like idle.
Yeah.
It's mad.
We thought it was a dirty fuel system because at the low pulse width, you would see similar issues if they were dirty.
Yeah, I don't think it's that because it's not specific to a cylinder, and I played with the fuel mixture and it didn't.
Exactly, I did the same thing, yeah. D-Works was awesome enough to send us brand new injectors previously, so it has brand new injectors, we have brand new rail, with the whole system, fuel system brand new coils, everything's brand new, so we know that's not the issue there. We pull the valve cover off, check the push rod length. If they're too long or too short, it will affect the motor a lot more at a low RPM versus a high.
Those hands have seen a lot. Gloves, those hands are gloves.
Be a man. Juicy ass rocker arms, dude.
LSs are so crazy, bro. Simple, but they're just like everywhere.
Big digging hole energy.
Yeah, for real.
Our lifters are what hit the valve to open, right? The camshaft, the lifter, then the lifter pushes on the valve, right? So we're hoping that the lifters are set a little too tight, which are hanging the valve open just the littlest bit, something that wouldn't affect it too greatly at higher RPM. We can't have that cylinder leak, we'll call it, because we need that efficiency to keep the engine running. Right, Derek? Better way to put it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just gonna quickly check lash here. It's a little bit of a weird combo, right? Because it's a hydraulic lifter, but we have adjustable lash on the rockers.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
You normally wouldn't do that because you would just figure out the push rod length at the time of assembly, and you wouldn't need an adjustable rocker. You would use an adjustable rocker for a solid lifter.
For a solid lifter. So it's just a weird combo, but we'll figure it out. So the weird thing is we have rocker arms with adjustable lash, but we have hydraulic lifters. It's a weird combo. Let's draw this out so you guys understand what's happening. Big old camshaft. Here's the lifter. All right, push rod. Then we have a rocker arm. Do it like this, right? That looks stupid. And then we have the valve. Right? Does that make sense? Right? Depending on this length, it's gonna push down on the valve, right? DJ, you got this? If DJ gets it, you guys gotta get it. Do you get this?
I'm following
right?
you, yeah.
So when the cam lobe, say this is the lobe, right, comes up, it's gonna push this up, right, DJ?
Yes, correct.
Which is gonna then push the valve
down.
Down, yes, I like this,
yeah,
right?
I'm following.
So if this length is too long, what's it gonna do to this valve?
If that, it's gonna push it down too far.
Too far, which will leave a little bit of area.
I feel like I'm in school again and I hate it.
It's gonna leave a little bit of area for us to basically lose a little bit of compression, right? It's gonna, it even sounds like, doesn't it sound a little pop and banging in the exhaust at low RPM?
I just thought it was a cam. Just crazy
That's
cam.
the problem. Essentially, I think this distance is just set a little too tight. This is adjustable, right? The rocker arm itself. So we can adjust this length slightly. So we're gonna try to readjust this real quick with a certain process and hopefully it fixes everything. So our goal here, since we have hydraulic lifters, is we're trying to bottom out the lifter and then adjust lash off of that.
A little snug, just give me a snug reposition.
Check. Checks in frowny faces. We'll explain the frowny faces
Oh yeah, we were doing frowny faces
in a little bit. The YouTube mechanics are gonna love this one.
Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna get crucified. Hold on. Bump it.
That's good. Yep.
That's a frowny face.
Yeah, that's a frowny face. You got DJ in there tuning?
Shut that, dickhead. Shut that laptop. The fuck you think this is? I don't care that you look at it. I just don't want you to ruin it. That's how I pay for my mortgage.
How much do you think this computer made you over the years?
$250 computer probably made me 500 grand.
Half a mil.
Half a mil.
$250 investment. Half a mil.
That's all you need. Listen, come to me for investment advice. $250 computer, $500,000.
There's a guy that DMs me and he says if I send him $250, he'll give me.
Oh, Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Here's a frowny face. We'll talk about that in a second.
We don't like frowny faces. Oh, this one's good. Check mark head. We're outside.
Bullshit.
We're outside.
All right, so explaining the frowny faces here. So about a third of the lifters are stuck open. It's very obvious on the lash adjuster on the rocker where it wants to be for the non-stuck lifter. So we set them all there and we're gonna run it. We're gonna try and see if it could actually kind of break those lifters loose. That's the goal. It's gonna run a little rough right now because the valves are gonna hang open just a little bit.
We did it the most consistent way that we possibly could.
Exactly.
Without like a dial indicator hanging off the top of it.
For sure. So hopefully the frowny faces loosen up. Best case scenario?
It runs mint.
Worst case scenario, it don't. It don't run mint.
Damn, that's facts. My boy's out here spitting facts.
Teach Derek a thing or two over here. Hit the okay.
Sounds a lot better to me. Oh. It sounds a lot better. Is it perfect? I don't know.
Sounds good. I don't know nothing about LS's.
consistent from the rest is take a temp gun to it. So we actually have a laser temp gun. It's a crude way of doing it, but usually if one cylinder is especially if a cylinder is misfiring, you'll see a way different range and temperature from that cylinder. It sounds better, but it's not right still. All right, well, this is getting kind of wild. So the lifters all seem to be stuck open. We've done everything we can to try and get them to bleed out, and none of them have actually bled out. So we believe that all the valves, or most of the valves, are kind of just partially stuck open. It doesn't take much. Like the littlest bit will make it, especially at idle, run weird. Higher RPM, might not notice it as much, but finally got a hold of the manufacturer, and they said these were actually designed to basically not bleed out, at least for
24 to 48 hours they're going to take to deflate.
Which is wild, because most lifters, LS lifters, I know you can kind of, you can work them. You can get them to, you can kind of plunge out the oil, so we're kind of under that impression. So what we're going to do, since they're fully maxed out because of the oil pressure in them, they said it's safe to just set 0 lash at them. Like basically treat them like they're solid lifters, which is what you wouldn't usually do. You were told by the manufacturer, that's cool.
Right.
So.
And that's what we were going to do previous to calling the manufacturer.
That was our like, this should work. Yeah. So, all right, let's do it. At that point, we just got you and all your friends just staring at the engine, hoping that something will magically pop out at you. Let's see if this thing will idle lower, because it would not idle low before. Come on, baby. Sounds more stable. This is the lowest idle we've had so far. It doesn't sound perfect at low RPM, but this is by far the most stable it's ever been at low RPM. What do you think? Input?
It's awful. This isn't right.
Yeah.
One eternity later.
We have checked everything. We've swung everything. Even Derek's stumped with the LS. That's wild.
That says something.
They have Forrest from Link on the phone trying to see if there's anything that could be awkward in the program or just in some type of setting. It's just at these low RPMs that it just doesn't feel right. We have checked everything over and over. If you think of it right now, we have tried it.
Had the same problem. Everything is different.
Come on, bro. Put a damn Jay-Z in this thing.
I get paid extra to actually wrench. I just want you to know that.
Well, 0 times anything is still 0.
God, dude.
Cars are sick, dude.
We go this way.
Over clear there. Getting back on is not going to be.
No, you're going to have to take this force out. But I won't have to be here for that. You know what I mean? And that's the important part.
Derek was saying that these intakes are known to crack.
Well, that'd be bullshit. This shit was expensive.
Well, this thing, take it right off.
No cracks.
Oh, yep, that's my heat shield. Oh, not all the way down.
You gotta put that back on.
It's good to me.
It's mitt.
Mitt.
Nice sticky.
That ain't it. So what we're gonna do as our leak down test here is we're gonna relieve all the pressure off the valve spring, and then we're going to fill the chamber up with brake clean, and it should hold the brake clean if there's a perfectly sealed cylinder, right? It doesn't hold the brake clean, drips into the cylinder, valve is not seating fully, valve's bent, something's wrong, right? Pre-pour a bunch of ethanol in the cylinder. You ready? Yeah, that would have dissipated by now.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Yeah. Get all that ethanol out of there. If you look, right, our injector fires right there. So our injector tip is right here. So if it does leak around here, it would make it run pretty shitty. What do you think, D-Rock?
I don't know, man.
I'm shooting for anything right now. There's shit gaskets. So we checked over all the obvious stuff. Of course, this thing's been apart a few times. We still have to do a leak down test. That is on the list. But right now, since we have the moment to do it, we sent Brian to the part store to get the new intake gaskets because it was very obvious that the other ones weren't sealing in certain cylinders. Could the intake gaskets do it? Yeah, 100%. Just because of how close it is to the injector, I think it could really cause some issues like that. One of the things is I cleaned it up, but you could see kind of the gasket line previously, and you could see some cylinders, it was kind of like almost going in because it's like the little rubber gaskets and they tend to move. Plus these head ports are heavily CNC'd, so they're actually opened up a little bit wider, so we don't have much room for error there. We had some old crusty gaskets, so I checked over everything again, cleaned it all up. When Brian gets back, we'll put it back together, and hopefully it helps. What makes me feel a little optimistic is even though when we unplugged coils, we didn't notice much of a difference until we took a bunch out, right, until it got to that super low inefficient point of idling. There were certain cylinders that had less of an effect than others. And those seem to be the cylinders that had the poor sealing kind of marking. Doing lash and stuff a million times has my hand so cut up, but we're gonna find out. Intake gaskets. Hopefully it's something that simple. Thank God for O-rings. We had to re-RTV these things every time. Oh my God. Still can't really guarantee that these are gonna perfectly seal just because one side we can't see it. You know, idle, it's under a decent amount of vacuum. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only way we could really test this would be to probably pull all the rocker arms off.
Yeah, shut all the valves, and then force air into the intake. So, but hey, this is a, you know, one step in the right direction, right? Still tacky enough. And then the perks of being a YouTube mechanic, you ready? Boom. Magic. Takes years to learn how to do that one. It's more noticeable now when we unplug coils. Oh, I hear it now. We couldn't hear it before. Like individual cylinders, you'd have to unplug it 2 for it to notice. Wait. 1. Oh, I hear it. That's something. I think it sounds better, but I've said that like 7 times today. That was an issue, right? We keep fixing all these little micro issues, and it does make it feel a little bit better every time.
Car is the boy who cried wolf. There may be a wolf now. I don't know. I don't trust it.
Does it sound better? Yeah. We've done everything correctly. We've checked over everything multiple times. Everything's right. It's, you know, it's LS stuff, so there's only so much to it. We have the right parts. We have everything set right. Everything's been checked out. We've had some good eyes on this thing other than us. Right now, we haven't really truly done a leak down test yet, like a true leak down test. You know, it has the energy of some of the valves actually still staying partially open, right? We were kind of talking a lot about it, and we realized that his old engine setup kind of did very similar stuff. Makes us a little concerned about what did you fart, DJ? Did you have fart spray? What? Did you fart? Yo, it smells so bad. It smells so bad. We just had the longest day, and this dude comes in here and sprays fart spray. Go unsub to his channel, bro. Oh! He's so disrespectful. Oh my God. So we were going down the rabbit hole of, you know, what haven't we changed from. It smells like Lupin just walked in here. Frenchie farts. What haven't we changed from the old setup, right? We were going through the list, and it seems like, you know, once we do the leak down test, we'll confirm 100% it's not that. From there, it's really deviating back of what parts do we still have on the engine from the previous setup. You know, exhaust, harness, ECU, intake. God, that smells so bad, bro. But we'll go through that later on. I need to get out of here. It stinks, but thank you guys for being part of the dying process. I know it seems frustrating, probably from a perspective from you guys too, because you can't do anything. You're just watching us try new stuff. But
obviously, it's like super disheartening. It sucks for me. It sucks for you guys too. You guys have all been, you know, everyone's been waiting to see this thing do its thing, and I don't know.
Take the goddamn LS into my Z at this point. Come on. So bad.
We gotta try something different.
Well, we got more stuff. We're gonna throw more parts at it. We'll see what happens.
Day 2.
All right, it's the next day, and to be honest, I don't want to leave this video off without every leaf rock unturned. Is that the saying?
Stone.
No stone unturned, right? So we kept talking about the leak down test. So we're gonna do a leak down test, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to check the intake manifold for vacuum leaks. I want to make sure that the gaskets we put in there are actually all fully seating, because I'm not fully convinced still. To do that, we had to take out all the rockers, right? We did this to guarantee that the valves are all shut, right? So no air can get past the valves. So we're gonna pressurize the intake. Theoretically, if there's no leak, it should be able to hold pressure in the intake. at least for a little bit. If it doesn't hold pressure, either the intake valves are leaking or something in the manifold is leaking. And after that, we're gonna go then pressurize the cylinder so we can find out if the exhaust valves or the intake valves are leaking from there. Sound good?
Sounds good. I mean, like you said, no stone unturned. We have to check everything.
Everything. So I got my handy dandy boost leak tester right here. So right here we have a little bike valve so we could force air into the intake. We don't want to put too much pressure on the manifold or else we can actually blow something out because these aren't made to hold a lot of pressure. Depends who you talk to, right? All right, so let's see. We really want to just see it.
One of those vacuum caps so we can immediately.
You can feel it. Wow. That's a big leak.
That's a big leak.
That's a huge leak. But your valve cover uses this bolt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that should technically seal it. All right, so we found the 2 big leaks, which is our valve cover bolts right here. But with the valve covers on, those technically shouldn't be leaking. But now we know to put sealant on those threads for extra protection. But even with a loose 10 mil in there, this whole entire intake is actually holding about 20 PSI, which is pretty good because that's...
Should be making like 900 horsepower right now.
We can consider this good. So the next step would be to actually check the leak down on the exhaust valve. So now we're gonna put pressure into each individual cylinder. So both valves are confirming that they hold pressure, right? I went and bought a leak down tester. I've needed one. So what this does is allows us to put pressurized air into the cylinder, and then it basically shows us how much is staying in the cylinder if anything leaks out, right? So naturally engines will have a little bit of a leak down. You just don't want to see more than like 15% difference than what you put into it. There's no point are we doubting the engine builds, right? This is motorsports. Things happen. You could have the best of the best installed to an aerospace grade of accuracy on everything, and things can still happen. That's just how cars go. You get to points like this, you just gotta test everything. Just literally test everything. 1, for your peace of mind, and 2, just to put you in the right order of diag, right? Do I think any of this leak down's gonna be bad? No, I don't think so. We gotta test it because, well, that's what it sounds like, right? So this is the air from the air compressor, it's the air in the cylinder. There we go. See how there's a slight difference? %. I'll take that. That's not bad at all. That's just mechanical leak, which is to be expected. So cylinder 2, good. Last one. Get up to 95. Look at it. That thing's mint. It's a JP engine, boys. Of course it's mint. I'm happy it's mint because that means nothing expensive is broken. But it's like, damn. All right. Wow, we have officially checked everything that has to do with the engine itself. So what do we check next? Good question. But for now, it's all apart. I'm gonna put it all back together. Again, I'm gonna do the lash perfect. I'm gonna check over everything a million times, get back together. We're gonna run it again. I'm gonna have Derek come back, check it out. And if it still runs like ass, now it's we gotta start throwing parts at this thing. We got like an hour and a half of not fun stuff. I'll see you then.
Much later.
I'm over it. That took me, my back hurts so bad. All right, we've done quite a few things. We've done a lot of back and forth stuff. The biggest thing we're talking about is valve lash, right? Making sure the valves are fully closed and engaging properly with the rocker arms and the push rods and all that stuff. So here's the big issue when we adjusted them 40 times. When the lifters have full pressure in them, you can't move them. They act as if they're solid, right? When they bleed out, they're then like squishy, they have like a spring in them. And every time we'd go to adjust valve lash, half of the lifters would bleed out and half were still hard, right? So it was really hard to consistently adjust valve lash, right? What's different about this time is this was the first time I was actually able to adjust the valve lash with all the lifters staying solid. They didn't bleed out overnight, which is a little weird. Every time we adjust valve lash prior, half of them were bled out, half of them were solid. But it seems like once they get oil pressure, the lifters are acting as if they're solid lifters, which isn't good, right? Because if you're not lashed when they're solid, you don't know if they're holding the valve slightly open. That mixed with the intake actually probably finally being sealed, I think it should be pretty good. The only weird thing is the car's cold, it's on ethanol, so it might run a little dookie regardless. right now with the current tune. So let's just start it and give me a couple little bits until we go, you know? I've heard this car make 10 different sounds. We gotta remember though, the exhaust is weird, so it's gonna cause a weird tone. 2 CTS manifolds, right? One flips to the front and then merges into the other one, so it has a really weird unequal length setup. So the exhaust should sound a little bit funky, but at least now no stone was left unturned, right? Checked everything. The long block is mint. Long block is good. I mean, that was the one thing. I never really honestly questioned it from the start, but you have to check it, right? We checked the coils, we checked the plugs, we checked the injectors, we checked the fuel pressure, we checked everything. All the data we checked, and it all checks out. Now, what is the issue? So, next video we're going to be taking a JZ and we're going to be shoving it inside at...
That's what I'm talking about.
I need to sleep on this. Brian's off of work, you can tell he's covered in Bondo. So,
not yet, not today.
I'm kidding. So at this point, we've checked over everything, confirmed everyth's good, blah, blah. Now, all the stones were turned. I can't tell if it sounds any different. You let me know. I'm so jaded at this point.
It sounds a lot better. And like that, I'm very, very confident. It sounds totally different from last night. Kind of sounds like corrects to what you would think an unequal length manifold LS would sound like too.
So hear me out, ready? We checked over everything. Everything looks good. Everything internally looks good.
We've bent every feeler gauge in the shop.
We'll get this is and my fingers. Yeah.
All of our hands are destroyed now. James, I see.
There was still
you
blood.
Were bleeding last night.
There was still
yeah.
blood in your valve cover from last night when I took it apart. I'm thinking we put it on the dyno and let the dyno tell us if it's not good. Because if it is down a cylinder like we think, or like could potentially, I don't think it's down a cylinder, but we will see it in the dyno. The dyno will tell us all. And I don't think we're going to hurt it putting load into it at this point, since we've checked over everything and everything seems good. Well, idling it and revving like this, we're not going to hurt the motor. That's why it's like we're not worried about kind of going back and forth with it, especially with the low run times like this. But I think we put on the dyno.
I mean, I will say, as the owner of the car, before I knew
this is my suggestion.
I knew that what you were going to say already, right?
Yeah.
And I walked in here and I told myself, if I hear any intake manifold backfire, it's not going to the dyno tomorrow.
Fair enough.
I didn't hear that. So that was a problem that occurred with the last engine.
Yeah.
Here and there, and it was far and few in between, but here and there randomly, and then you were like weren't sure if it actually happened, but it definitely had some intake backfires.
So,
and this was doing it last night and yesterday.
So I think put on the dyno it with extreme caution.
Yeah.
If we see any irregularities in the power band or even in the VE that shows any lack of efficiency anywhere, we pull it off.
Put it on dyno.
Put on the dyno. You heard it here first, folks. Put on the dyno. Ah! We call Derek. We've been busting our knuckles back here. We've been busting his knuckles.
Yeah. Give the man some light.
Right.
Let him shine.
We got the Recaros for the FC, and we were like, okay, putting them in there is, mocking them all is easy. Bolting them down is the hard part. So, especially getting the bolt really low. Spoon. Been finessing this mount all day. It is officially done as of 30 seconds ago, right?
Yeah.
Good time. Here we go. Ah, my head fits. My legs fit. Look at that, boys. I have SR4 Recaros, and I still fit in the damn car. This is sick. I'm impressed. Nice work. That's a tight fit. Long day. That was a long day. Seat rails suck. If you guys are gonna do aftermarket seats in your car, anticipate spending the whole day to do it. Because even when you buy off-the-shelf things, unless you're like unless you're below 5'5", you're not gonna fit. You always gotta mod seat rails, right?
Try the seatbelt. Should work.
Nice.
Nice. The worst part about seat rails is you gotta do 2.
That sounds like tomorrow's problem.
That sounds like future smooth problems. You still fit?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think so.
I'll make you a booster seat. So wish us luck in the next video. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, Brian. Goodbye.